I'm not really sure how to start this. So my main concerns include not making a very good first impression, and being boring, and not standing out in any way when there's so much competition for attention on the internet, and being bad just generally in ways that I didn't anticipate that are very unpleasant surprises. But am I talking about concerns regarding the making of these pages, or am I talking about concerns regarding making this video? That's what makes it such a good segue. So I'm Chris. I'm Chris, by the way. Hello. So first thing I want to mention is just how long it took to make this opening page, which became 2 pages, but I'll talk about that later. So I think the main reason this page, and especially this panel, this first panel took me so long, is because of a couple of reasons, which I will ramble incoherently about now. I was a little out of practice, so I needed to warm up, which, perfectly natural. I also think I got it into my head that what I lacked in character drawing skills, and the ability to draw people, I'd make up for it in technical drawings with these breathtaking photorealistic backgrounds that are also somehow simultaneously simplistic and stylized, which is a lot of pressure to put on yourself. Not that having high expectations is a bad thing. It's good to want to improve, but at the same time you can't stress yourself competent. Or at least not in a single drawing session, you can't. In the end, I kinda had to just let myself off the hook quality-wise in the name of just getting the bloody thing done. I mean, I like it. I think it's nice enough, it gets the job done. It visually conveys that we're outside of a building with a big, vague, pedicle-y cross dangling out front. It's fine. It's nice. I like it. I like myself. I have value as a human being beyond my artistic abilities. But on the other hand, even now I'm noticing convergent lines with the cross and a wood panel behind it, but it is what it is. As Dan Harmon had one of his characters say, you don't get in shape by working one muscle group at one machine until it's giant. You exercise for a while, and then you move onto the next muscle group at a different machine, and that's how you get swole. That is not remotely what Jeff Winger said, but I'm not looking it up, so yeah. This first panel was a psychological hellscape for me, but let's move on to something a bit more upbeat, like the practical hellscape that was the rest of this page. I don't know how well this point is going to sync up with the time-lapse, with the visuals that you're seeing now, but I also had to think pretty hard about which way the door was opening for continuity, and I know that sounds counterintuitive to what I said just now about being able to let small stuff go and get on with making it, but I think that's actually pretty important. I think people on some level at least can tell if a door opens inconsistently, and I think that can then make them question if the location's changed, which brings me on to why I decided to split this page into 2 pages. So I don't have a huge amount of test readers. I don't really have any, honestly. I kind of just show it to a friend for broad notes, and to my partner for art notes, and to hear her call me a handsome genius because she's sweet like that. But yeah, one thing that both of them did mention, however, was some mild confusion about location with these opening few pages, which... Look, I'd gone back and forth about restarting this whole project so many times, and I just had to get strict with myself and, tell myself, you've made all this stuff, just get some use out of it. So I really didn't want to redo anything, but at the same time, the audience knowing vaguely where they are geographically is so important. I mean, not always, like sometimes it can be a mystery where the audience is, but that absolutely wasn't the mystery that I wanted to cultivate with this opening. I wanted the audience to wonder what was going on with the patient and who was in danger. I didn't want them wondering, where are we? So it was really important that these establishing shots do their job. You definitely shouldn't have the audience wondering, where are we, after an establishing shot, but I digress. So, even with that though, I still didn't split the page for a while. The main reason is basically that I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. I wanted a slower paced build up to an exciting page turn moment, but I also didn't want to risk the audience getting bored with a slower pace. And you can have like slower paced stuff and keep it interesting, absolutely. But if you do, I think you need some level of tension behind it. And like my big page turn moment in question was the thing that was gonna inject tension into the scene. So, you know, what do I do in the meantime? It also would have moved that page turn moment over a page, which meant that my very first page was potentially going to end on like kind of a bum note, which was terrifying, honestly. So in his book Manga Theory and Practice, Araki said that he was terrified of editors looking at the first page of his manuscripts and throwing it away unread, so he always made a big effort to make the first page as exciting as possible, and I wanted to do the same. But although I do draw this in a page format and upload and scrolling, the goal with that is so that I have the option for traditional printing later down the line. Initially, this is only going to be up in scrolling format, and these first 5 or so pages were always going to be grouped together, so my first page isn't really my first page, so long as I have some page turn moments scattered throughout, with one such moment at the end of the scrolling episode. I think I should still be in okay form. Once I actually did confront the fact that I'm not Araki and that I need to do stuff that makes sense for my very, very different set of circumstances, I actually found another problem. I didn't want the reader to know it was Jack, that it was one of the main characters yet, because I wanted his introduction to be that moment that I'll talk about later when we get to that page. But yeah, it's really hard to have a wide establishing shot while also keeping one of the characters in that scene not visible, so that's why at first I tried to get clever with what was supposed to be a reflection of the Doctor's back in the glass jars, but I don't think it was a very good likeness of that. Does that make sense? I did a bad drawing, so I couldn't properly execute the visual I had in my head. But yeah, that is more or less everything of note about these pages specifically. There's some more general stuff I can touch on, but I think that might be better served in later uploads. I mean, I can talk about the new panels I added. Hands are horrible, and I feel no guilt about drawing cotton balls for 90% of the hands because I need to get this out in a relatively timely manner. But yeah, I hope you found this interesting. If you want to see these completed pages, links to my Webtoon and Tapas are in the description, as is my Facebook, but that's mostly just a place to get updates for when I upload new episodes or videos. I have an Instagram that I need to do something with, which I don't know what that will be at time of recording. I don't know. Okay, bye.